This session is about producing orthographic views. When we produce an isometric view, as with the one we can see in the top right hand corner, it gives us information about how something looks in general. However, this is frequently not enough information for us to actually produce the object. When we need that kind of detail, we produce orthographic views. These are views of the object viewed directly from a particular direction. For instance, direction A, looking at it this way, would be the front in this case. Direction B will be looked at from this direction, and the plan will be looked at from the underneath, which is direction C. There are two types of orthographic view. There is the first angle orthographic view, which we're going to do this time, and the third angle orthographic view, which will be done in another session. With the first angle orthographic view, what we see will appear on the opposite side. Thus, direction B, when we look at the end from direction B, that will appear on the right hand side. When we look at our plan from the underneath, it will appear on the top, and this direction will appear directly in front of us. So the front will appear directly in front of us. For third angle orthographic view, the opposite is true. So to start our drawing, the first thing we will do is use construction lines. I've already put some construction lines on this drawing, but we'll try and line them in so that you can see what we're doing. We'll work from the dimensions on the isometric view you can see in the top right hand corner. The first thing we do is we move up our parallel action and we put in a baseline along here. The next dimension we need is the total height, which is 60 mm. So using our scale rule, and we use the 1:1 scale, we measure 60 mm, put a little mark, move up our parallel action onto the mark, pencil on the mark, and draw a further line in. Another construction line. Now the next thing we need to do is actually draw the front of our object. So that is the view from direction A. And we're going to place it in the middle here. So using a square, it doesn't matter whether you use your 45 or your 30/60, we're going to put a perpendicular line in. And where you choose to put it, it can be anywhere on the page so long as everything else fits. Move up to your line and draw your first line in. From that line, which is here, we're now going to measure the total length of the item, which in this case is 82. So we're going to be using our 1:1 scale, place it on where we've drawn our first line and marking 82, which is going to appear there. All we now need to do is put in our construction line, which is now down there. The next thing we need to do is we need to show the cutout, this cutout here. So we know from our drawing that the height of it comes up to there, is 36. So we measure up this distance, 36 at that point. Again, using our 1:1 rule, place it on, and we measure up 36, put a mark. Okay, and we need to find that point along there. We need to show it on here, so we measure from that end 46, which is the distance on there, put a mark. All we need to do now is our square, place our pencil on the line and draw our line down, and use our parallel view to draw our line across. Now, they're very faint lines, but you can just about see them. We now need to draw the end, this direction here, from the direction of B, which is going to appear on this side. So looking at it from this direction, it will appear on this side. Okay, so the first thing we do is we put in an upright line. This can be anywhere at this stage. So there's our first line. We put our first line in up there. The next line we want is that distance across there. which in this case is 26. We know that from up the top. Turn our scale rule around and mark on 26. Goes on there. Use our square. Draw up our construction line. Now, because we're looking from this way, we won't see that line. All we'll see is just a square end, or a rectangular end. We can't see that line, but we know that it's there. So it becomes a hidden line. And as such, we need to show it as a dashed line. We can pick it up from this one here. Move that your parallel motion up and put in a dashed line along that side. Okay. So now we've got our construction of that end on this side. We need to show this end, looking at it from this direction now, on the other side. So again, all we're going to do is we're going to raise a square line, a vertical line down there. We're going to measure across 26, because that's the width of it. Put a little mark on. Put our construction line in, down there. But this time, because we're looking from this direction, we can actually see this line. Therefore, when we put that up to there, this will be a solid line across here. So now we've got our front view and both our end views. All we need now is our plan. And in a first angle orthographic view, we're going to be looking up underneath the object, but our plan will appear above. So it's going to appear up here. So to draw that view, we raise our perpendiculars up, our verticals up, draw a line on there, and we draw a line on here. Okay? So we've already got our width, which is that distance from there to there. We can just connect our bottom lines up now, simply with a line across the bottom. But we do need to get the actual width of it, that distance across there, which is as before 26 mil. Put our ruler on, measure across the distance 26 mil and mark that line. Put our pencil on the mark and draw in our top line, construction line. We need to show again this line here, but because we're looking up from the underneath, it's going to be once again, as on the other side, a dotted line. So using a square, slide it up and put your dotted line in. Right, we've now drawn it with our construction lines. All we now need to do is line it in with a drawing pen. For the purposes of this demonstration, I'm using an ordinary pen because it's easier to see. So starting there, I'm going to put in these verticals. Again, I want to try and finish neatly. Well, I should finish neatly. Okay, like that. Down there. We can put in our other line, any vertical line that we can see, we can put in that lines up. And this one back here, we could put this one in the same time as we did the other. Up there, move across a bit, up there, and again up here, because they're all the same size. And we're going to put these verticals in as well. Okay, like so. Now our next job is to put in our horizontal lines. So, our bottom, on the bottom, yeah. Move it up. This line is going to be a solid line. This line will be a solid line. This line, because we're looking at the other end, will be a dotted line. And finally, well, not quite finally, but across the top line, I'm going to put in a top line. And the final top lines at the top here, our plan. So that's our drawing nearly complete. All we now do is get our rubber or razor and just go along and take out your construction lines so that we've got a neat drawing. Just take that line off there. It's quite useful to have a drawing brush if you're doing like this, because you can just wipe off the eraser marks, and we ended up with a neat drawing. I'm just going to take away some of those marks. That is how we produce an orthographic view of an isometric object.